What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is Friday, and y'all know what that means. That means we're gonna have us a good old time tonight. I'm your host, Emmanuel Noisette, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight and hanging with your boy on this very, very special day. First and foremost, let me wish a very, very happy, lovely, fantastic, wonderful Valentine's Day only to my wife. Okay, because I'm not trying to get in trouble. So happy Valentine's to just my wife. And I hope all of y'all that happen to celebrate it, and for the brothers that are out there probably going broke, good luck. And I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. But we have got a couple of things to talk about today. I'm gonna try not to keep y'all too long because I know so many of y'all have hot dates that you got to get to. It's already kind of late, so we're gonna try and get through this as fast as we can. But we're going to talk about some updates for Black Panther 3. Colman Domingo talked about his talks with Marvel. And of course, you know, it is the weekend where Captain America 4 Brave New World has come out. I will give you my full spoiler-free review and give you my thoughts on that. And yes, I've got thoughts. So let us do some before we get to this, because I did say it is Valentine's Day, and I wanted to make sure that it is on the record and that we see this. Hold on, let me make sure that I get this here for y'all, because a lot of times people be having bad memories, and I'm not gonna have that. In case you saw it, I posted a video of myself, my wife. We went to the bar. We went to go hang out with Morris Chestnut and Mr. Fish and Loaves himself from Harold Perrineau, and we was talking about their new drink, Sable, and just kind of celebrating and all that. So you saw that video, but y'all didn't see this video. And I want to make sure I play this because I need evidence. Y'all know I like my receipts. Y'all know I like evidence. And what this is for, the purpose of this is for Valentine's Day. And I need this to be for my wife to remember that this counts as a gift. Okay? What I'm about to show y'all, this is a Valentine's Day gift from me to my wife. Check this out. Y'all are all witnesses. Okay?
He needs a shot specifically from you.
You want mixed or you want straight?
Whoa, okay.
You drink bourbon? You drink whiskey?
I am tonight.
Okay. Hey, this right here. There you go.
How you gonna take one with you?
You got to take one with
I'll
her.
take one with you.
I appreciate. I know you can't take a lot, so this gonna mean more.
I've already had a couple.
Just do a mini
I've
one.
already had a couple. There you go. And you can put them over there.
You all right? You held out. You held out. You're a little rough. That was good.
Good.
Let it be known that this is an official gift from me to my wife, that she was able to have an exclusive shot with Morris Chestnut. Okay? Because I don't want to hear no, he didn't get me this. I didn't do that. You got something that a whole lot of other people didn't get. So I just wanted to be known. Y'all seen it. Y'all witnesses. It is in the books. Okay? It is done. So I don't want to hear nothing else. Anyway, while we're here, let's go ahead and say what's up to all the folks that have made it out tonight. Let's see who is here. We got Jerome in the house. Watch mouth. What's going on? Thank you for being here. Paulette, thank you so much for being here. Sam K, what is up? Corey, how you doing? Hanging out with the replay gang. Shout out to the replay gang. MC, good to see you. Thank you so much. Wow, what is up? Good to see you. King Chad is here. How you doing? Shar, appreciate you coming through. DJ Payne, my man, what's up? My man Mike, what's going on, bro? Kenny is here. Hello, Tyra, what is up? Jay, good to see you. John, good to see you as well. Javon, thank you so much for making it out. We got Kristen Pratt holding it down with the Mod Squad as always. Thank you so much. T-Ville, appreciate you coming through. My man Mo Show is here. I am almost done with My Adventures of Superman. Solid show. Fantastic show. I apologize for being late. My man made a nice little donation. I did not forget. But I appreciate the reminder. Told me to hurry up and finish that Superman. I'm on it. I am on it. Fantastic show. I'm really, really enjoying that show so far. Who else we got? My man Lewis here. Good to see you. Jam. Hello. Nelson V, what is going on, sir? Talented one, appreciate you coming through. Really do. Gothic chick, always a pleasure to have you on. My man Eugene is here. Thank you so much. We got the homie Tracy. She is here, and Treese is here as well. Mitch, what is going on? Appreciate you coming through. Tasha, hello. My man Derek is back. Good to see you. We got the homie Kiki West. We got some Game of Thrones to talk about a little later. So I got you covered on that. Dex, what is going on? Thank you so much. Akuri, good to see you. My man Raymond is back. And hello, Theo, what is up? Who else we got? I saw there we go. Dre the Prince, good to see you. Appreciate you coming through. Kristen, hello. From across the pond, my man Stamina MC, good to see you. Chris, appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you so much. Phil, what is up? Good to see you. Who else did I see? I think I saw one more. There we go. Soto, Kari, good to see y'all. And shout out to everyone that has made it out tonight. I really appreciate y'all coming through. And we are about to get started. What happened? What, Kiki, what you talking about? No, we are not a witness. I didn't see anything. Really? You just gonna play? Okay. All right. I'm gonna need the replay gang will witness it. Okay. The replay gang will witness it. Y'all, you're not gonna take that away from me. Okay. You're not gonna take that away from me. Do you know how hard it was to get that whole thing set up? Listen, your boy was out here working. All right. Let's see. Let's go over some of the quicker updates, and then we'll go over some other stuff along the way. Now, listen, we've gone through this before where we've seen certain movies. Oh man, even from a long time ago, they get rebooted or they'll even get a sequel. And it seems like this movie is going to be no exception. And it is The Goonies. There is a sequel to The Goonies that is moving forward at WB after 40 years. I have to ask this question. Who is this for? Who is this for? And I'm not even hating on The Goonies. Like, I watched it as a kid. I don't really remember it like that. But I remember watching it as a kid, and it was cool. It was interesting. And then I moved on. But I know a lot of people, especially, if you was like a 80s baby or a 70s baby, like you grew up watching this. And it was something that a lot of people that are, I don't know, 40 years, maybe 50 years old and older really enjoyed. But that's kind of my issue. Why are you making a sequel to this for a very limited portion of the viewing public? Like, this feels like it's you pulling on that nostalgia tab, and I don't know if it's really going to have the payback that you think it will. Now, we've already seen how, like, Stranger Things, for example, will borrow from the Goonies, and they'll kind of, pay off just a little bit. But that's because they've taken something old, but they really refreshing it with a different idea. Why are y'all making a sequel to this? I could even see if y'all wanted to do a remake or something a little bit more updated. I could kind of see that, but a sequel? I don't know. I don't see how this brings in new audiences. I don't see how this is like a money maker. I know that it's a cult classic and all that, but I'm just saying, like, I can't bring my 17-year-old daughter to go watch this. Like, she'll probably be bored out of her mind watching the old movie. So I don't know. Y'all let me know. Are you interested in a Goonies sequel? Is that something you want to see? Maybe the kids are all grown up. Obviously, they're grown up. maybe their kids go on an adventure. We'll see. We'll see. Speaking of, and this is random, so random. My wife put on, actually, let me put this up so y'all can know what I'm talking about. My wife put this on for our kids the other day. I think it was on Disney Plus. And I mean, I had seen this movie so many times as a kid. And even though I saw this movie, I swear it had a completely different take when I saw it as an adult. And I feel so dumb because I saw it as a kid, but I never really put two and two together. And I'm not going to spoil it. I guess I don't know. Maybe you can't spoil it. But it was the movie Hook. When I tell you, I used to watch this movie. I think I was like in first grade, maybe. First grade, second grade. I remember having the toys for Hook. Okay, I had the toys. I had my boy Rufio. Like, this was my movie. Okay, I loved this movie so much. But when I tell you, watching it as an adult with my kids was a completely different experience. Tell me why I'm watching this thing. I'm like, yo, this thing might be a masterpiece. You know, the way that, obviously Peter is a little bit older and he's going through other things. As a kid, I don't know why I never put two and two together. I was like, he's Peter? What? Huh? Like, this movie was so ahead of its time. It was so good. And it just the rewatch value, and rest in peace to Robin Williams. And I was blown away when you look at the cast. Julia Roberts, Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman. I didn't even know that was him for the longest time. So I just wanted to put this back out there because this was one of them movies that, like, it ages perfectly. It doesn't feel dated at all. And it was just so much fun to watch it. It made me miss Robin Williams. Maggie Smith was in there too. Oh my, this is why I say, and I know I'm going on a tangent right now. This is why I say the 90s probably had the best lineup of movies ever. Just ever. The reason why I say that is because back in the 90s, and I know I'm dating myself hard, but when you used to go to Family Video, Hollywood Video, Blockbuster, your local video store down the street, you could walk down the aisle and you would find so many hidden gems. Okay, for some of y'all young folks, this would be equivalent to you scrolling on Netflix and you randomly find some movie that ends up being really, really good. That was every Friday night. Every Friday night, you go to the video store and it was like a 95% chance you was going to find a banger of a movie that maybe didn't even make it into theaters. It might not have made it to theaters. It might have just been a little B movie, but that thing was a cult classic in the waiting and you didn't even know it. What a time to be alive. Oh my God. I loved that era of movies, and you had so many stars before they were stars in all these movies, and they were originals. We're not talking about all these copy and paste formulaic stuff. No, you was getting different stuff every time. You was getting Seven. You was getting Zodiac Killer. You was getting like Jurassic Park. Like, you was getting all these different movies. Oh, I missed that time. Oh, I missed that time. That was a time to be alive. Oh, you find them little legends, man. Them legends. I'm sorry, I had to go down that little nostalgic road right there. But anyway, let's go on with our updates. Sorry for that. Sorry. I have not watched this show. It is an Emmy nominated and I think Emmy winning show. I think some of y'all watch it, so that's why I wanted to cover it real quick. But HBO says Euphoria season 3 is expected to be the final season for this show. I haven't watched it. It seemed, at least from what I've heard and from the little clips I've seen, it's a little bit much for me with the teenage drama and the adult situations and the drugs and this and that. I was just like, all right, I don't need this. Like, it's just not for me, right? But it does seem like they are finished, and probably for good reason. I mean, like, how long you finna have Zendaya play a teenager? You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, the black ain't cracking yet, but you know, how long? How long? So, I don't watch this show. I don't know. I think in Sydney Sweeney, I think that's where she got her start from, or she got popular from. So it's kind of like, don't get Stranger Things on people now. You're gonna have grown adults playing kids now. But anyway, this is the final season. For those of y'all that do watch this, how do you feel about the fact that they're wrapping it up in 3 seasons? Do you like that? Do you not like it? Whatever you think, let me know. Now this, Alice in Borderland, I enjoyed the mess out of this show. This is it's an Asian show on Netflix. I'm not gonna say if it's Korean, I don't know. I apologize, but this thing had me in a chokehold. Like, I had no idea how entertaining Alice in Borderland was. And as you can see, they're playing it up with the Joker card. If you have watched the series, I didn't even know that they could turn this up another notch. I didn't know that they, because after, and help me if it was it the King of Spades? Was that the final boss in the last movie, but or in the last series? That guy was crazy. That whole situation was nuts. That was nuts. Y'all saying it was Japanese. Okay, thank you for that. But that was fantastic. I loved it. And the fact that now I'm just, at this point, I'm just more curious of what the hell are y'all finna do now? What are y'all about to do now, especially with the Joker? Like, who or what is the Joker? So I'm curious about it, but they are coming out with it. It's coming out in 2025. I'm watching it. If you haven't watched Alice in Borderland, I'd say give it a shot. But yes, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So how do you feel about season 3? Is that something you're looking forward to? Feel free to let me know. What else we got? Oh, okay, Last of Us. So we talked about how many seasons it might have, maybe 2, maybe 3. Well, according to HBO, they're expecting 4 seasons long. They say here, I wouldn't want to confirm that, but it's looking like this season and then 2 more seasons after this, and we're done. So 4 seasons seems like the sweet spot for The Last of Us. Now, again, I haven't played the games or anything. I'm somewhat familiar with what happens in 2, but I kind of always had the impression that 3 seasons might have been the better route to go. Now, maybe they condense the episodes. Maybe they're not going to do like a full 10, or I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't know. 4 seasons, does that seem like a stretch to y'all? Does it seem like a lot? Maybe not. I don't know. Feel free to let me know. Kiki, what'd you say? What am I waiting on? My nerves. Did you not hear the? Nah, I don't like that. My nerves. That's it. I need to wait when I can play in the daytime. When people are around, like, no, I don't do scary games. And it's crazy because I love scary movies. I watch scary movies all day long, but like the scary game, I don't really be messing with the scary games like that, So plus I gotta play Ghost of Tsushima. I still gotta play that new Dragon Ball. Like, I got a long list of games I need to catch up on. I ain't even gonna mention some of the other games. Y'all gonna clown me for that. Now here's another thing. We had talked about this Masters of the Universe, or He-Man, which, by the way, that's where I got my name, E-Man, He-Man, because I was a big fan as a kid. So we've talked about this, and I've always been saying, hey, y'all got to go get my man Reacher, have him be the He-Man, put whatever kid you want in there, to play Prince Adam, and let's rock, right? But Amazon was like, nah, we ain't finna do that. We not doing that, whatever. So they was like, they went and got, what is this dude's name? Nicholas Galadzine, and it says here that, well, actually, let me get a picture of him first for y'all. So this is what he looks like, right? That's what he looked like. And I'm like, man, don't nothing about this dude look He-Man-ish. Like nothing. Nothing about him looks He-Man-ish. And then they started showing some current pictures. Now, wait a minute. That neck got a little thicker. The face, did he do some chin-ups? Some chin push-ups? Like the square jaw is starting to square a little bit. Now, look, let's just look. That's the before. And this the after. Hey now, my man, you getting in the gym? You putting in that time in the gym? Now look at this. Listen. Shout out to bruh man if he's out here putting in that work. Look at the forearm. Okay, look at that forearm. And is that the dude that played the mountain in Game of Thrones? I don't know. But see, this is what I be talking about. I love it when the actors will sit here and tell us, look at what I'm doing for this role. If only a certain immortal, iron-handed character had an actor to do the same thing for them. If only that were the case. Because I see this with all these other actors. All these other actors will post they workouts, they transformations, they'll do all of it, but I'm not seeing that with y'all boy Finn Jones. Where's he at? Yes, this turned into an Iron Fist just topic out of nowhere. Because why is this dude who I had no expectations to get big? I had no expectations. I don't know if he on that juice. I don't know if he on that Hollywood training diet. I don't know. But at least I know he's putting in the work for He-Man. And I'm going to give him props for that. I just want to give props to other people. I would love to give props to other folks. But other folks would rather go camping. They'd rather go take pictures of nature. They'd rather go clubbing. They'd rather do everything else but go train for a role that could put them on the top. Anyway, shout out to Nicholas. Nicholas is putting in that work. Hey, one thing is, here's what's crazy. As a fat person, I could talk about this. It is hard to take weight off. Okay, I think a lot of us can understand that. It is hard to take weight off. But I think, especially if you are a smaller frame person, people don't talk about how hard it is to put muscle on. And I mean, naturally, you always got other ways, but I'm just saying to put muscle on is incredibly difficult. Because you might be fighting with genetics. You might be fighting with a whole bunch of other factors. It's not like you could just go, oh, let me go outside, do a couple push-ups. No, you got to do a lot. You got to eat a lot. You got to train a lot. So shout out to him, because clearly my man is putting in some work. So I'm looking forward to what his final transformation will be. Because here's the other thing. I don't know if y'all recall, Henry Cavill was not always as big as he was. If you look back at Henry Cavill at what? In Immortals or something, Henry Cavill was, he was a lean guy. But he was not, Superman until much later. So, it's a journey. It's a journey. So shout out to him, man. I respect the fact that he's putting in that work. All right. What else do we have? So I do have well, y'all know, I don't hide my faith or nothing like that. Proud Christian and all that. And you know, there are a lot of things that as a Christian, when it comes to movies, there are a lot of things that I will put up with and I will tolerate. I put up with or I tolerate when certain films will, let's say in a horror movie, they'll do certain things in the church because the church is corrupted. All right. Okay, I get it. I think one of the worst movies that ever did something like that was One Missed Call. Don't go watch that movie. But One Missed Call, I remember there was this one scene and it scared me because the way it scared me was kind of like, okay, we're good here, right? And they was like, everybody finna die. That scared the mess out of me. It was that one scene in the church, didn't like it, creeped me out. But with that tolerance, I think that there's always a certain breaking point. And I think that I'm starting to get to my breaking point with this upcoming movie. Now, this movie is it's called The Monkey, and it's produced by James Wan. And it is it's obviously a horror movie. But again, I don't really have a problem with what you're gonna do in your movie. I don't really care about that, right? Because it's your right, it's artistic expression. It's fictional. You can do what you want to do in your movie. But this, I feel like it's kind of gone a little too far because Neon, the studio, is going to have The Monkey be the first film available to screen in churches across the US simultaneous with theaters. I don't like this. Like this to me feels messy. Like you about to take a horror movie and and maybe it has a scene with a church in there. Maybe there's something, I don't know. But this feels messy. Now, hey, if you're wanting to take maybe one of those other religious movies like God's Not Dead or one of those positive, churchy type of movies or religious movies, and you want to screen that in the church, I don't mind that. That's fine, because it kind of goes along with the whole, message. I get that. But to take something evil, to take some horror movie and to screen it in churches, I mean, I'm really side-eyeing whatever churches are participating in this. Why would y'all even sign up for this? Neon, I mean, it's one thing on Neon, because I'm looking at y'all kind of like, why would y'all, who in the marketing team said, you know what we should do? Put this in a religious institution and play it there. For what? Like, why? Like, and here's the thing. Even if you are someone who doesn't, you're not religious, maybe you're atheist, maybe you're agnostic, and I respect that. No, you believe what or not believe whatever you want. Church for believers is a sacred space. And that's the thing where it's kind of like, once you start getting into like this entertainment type of stuff, once you start getting into this specific horror stuff, to me, it does not feel like you're honoring that sacred space. Maybe for the people that do view it more than others. And I think that to me, this is crossing the line. I don't like it. I think it's a little distasteful. And I think it's also very unnecessary. So, listen, not in my church. My church wouldn't do that. I mean, listen, as a church, we will go out and watch a movie together. I invited my church to come and watch Black Panther when it first came out. Yeah, we'll go out. We not feeling what y'all finna do? Play it in the sanctuary? No, man. Get out of here with that. And I'll just throw one other thing in there. Y'all gonna do this in a mosque? I'm wait. Let me see that same energy. Y'all go play a horror movie in a mosque and let me know how that works out for you. Yeah. See, I don't like that. Anyway, I'm probably not even gonna watch this movie anyway. But let's pivot. Let's go on to something else. DC Clayface. We got a couple updates here. It says Clayface is described as a Hollywood horror story that follows a B movie actor who injects himself with a substance to keep himself relevant. Interesting. Okay, so listen, this is going to be written by Mike Flanagan. From what I understand, and I like Mike Flanagan, very good. Did Midnight Mass, House on Haunted Hill, just did so many really good TV shows on streaming. But he's not directing it, so they are finding another director for this. But you know, I'm interested in where this goes. Clayface is an interesting character in the DC Batman. He's a Batman villain, in case you didn't know. And I'm curious to see where they go with it. You know, this is going to be in the DCU. So this will be official. This will be in the same universe as Superman. It'll be the same universe as well, they already showed Clayface in Creature Commandos. So, you know, it'll be very interesting to see where they continue with this character, or maybe give him his prequel origin. But that will be interesting to see. You guys let me know, how do you feel about a horror story Clayface? Is that something you're interested in? Whatever you think, feel free to let me know. Moving on. Now, this is probably one of my most anticipated movies of this year. When I tell you I'm trying so hard to get my foot in the door to get just a peek of this movie, and it is the Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan movie Sinners. Y'all seen the commercial, the trailers for it. We know it's about vampires and all. We talked about how it was a mystery movie and all that stuff. I have been looking forward to this for a long time. And it looks like Michael B. Jordan did a quick interview with GQ magazine, and you know, he was talking about a couple of things in there. He voiced his support for Jonathan Majors, was like, yeah, that's my guy, that's my brother, you know, look happy that he's fighting through. But he also made another comment because somebody asked him, they was like, hey, what's up with Marvel? How you think Marvel's doing over there? You know, so he did have some comments on that. Now he says Michael B. Jordan comments on making his vampire thriller Sinners while Marvel's in development hell on Blade. He said launching any franchise, it's tough. I hope it gets together. I want to see a Blade movie. You know what I'm saying? The Blade franchise was everything. I love this. I just love the fact that he is being supportive of Marvel. I love the fact that he is keeping Blade in the ether, keeping that in the conversation. Okay, yes, because we need that public pressure. Like, listen, Marvel, I'm not saying I want you to rush it, but I am saying you getting kind of late with this. You know, as somebody who usually will be like, hey, I'll wait, take your time. I'm like, hey, it's going on 6 years. It's going on 6 years. What are you doing? What are you doing? Let's get this going, please. So I like the fact that he was talking about that, and man, I cannot wait until this movie comes out. I kind of want to do a watch party for it, but I'm just, you know, I know it's also going to be like adults only because it seems like it's going to be rated R. But anyway, oh, we got another update for Daredevil. This one is also a TV show I am looking forward to. I think we will cover Daredevil. I think that is actually going to be a TV show we will cover, you know, on a weekly basis when that comes out. But I've been looking forward to it. It's definitely been one of the better pieces of the Marvel puzzle, even though that was Marvel Netflix, or I'm sorry, Marvel TV entertainment at the time. But I am looking forward to what they're going to do with this. And we've been hearing a lot from the director or the showrunner. You know, we've been hearing how he compared this to Penguin, which was big talk. Very, very big talk. Then we heard him talk about, like, man, there's going to be a scene that's like basically better than the hallway scene. You know, again, the mere fact that I could just say the hallway scene, everybody knows what we're talking about. Okay. So the fact that he was just, he's talking that stuff. And this ain't all. He still got some more to say. And he says here, this is a Dario, says that the show is super violent for a Marvel Disney show. He says there's a moment in this that is just absolutely bat crazy and way past anything Netflix ever did. Sir, you listen. I just don't want you to write a check that you can't cash, because you getting me hyped. You getting me hyped for this. You telling me that, yo, y'all doing some things that Netflix didn't do, and Netflix didn't have no restrictions. Okay, Netflix could do whatever. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. You talking some big game. I want to make sure that this lives up to it, because you comparing it to the old Netflix show. You saying that y'all getting more violent. You comparing it to a great show like The Penguin. Don't get flashed. Okay? And I'm not talking about exhibition Flash. I'm talking about like Flash in DC when they started hyping that thing up. Talking about, oh, this is the greatest movie ever, superhero movie ever. And then we saw the movie. Don't get flashed. Please. All right. Anyway, that's all we got for the quicker updates. What did you guys think? Are you looking forward to Sinners? Are you looking forward to Daredevil? Or does this make you a little cautious that, you know, they talking all this big game? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. What else do I have? Nope. Okay, we can talk about that. Rings of Power. So Rings of Power on Prime Video or Amazon. I like it so far. You know, I still contend that it lacks general appeal. Like, I don't think you can put Rings of Power on and captivate somebody who's never been familiar with the books or the stories or even the other movies. And the biggest comparison obviously would be Game of Thrones, right? Like, you could have someone that's never read anything about Game of Thrones, probably don't even like the whole Dungeons and Dragons type of genre, and they could get hooked on Game of Thrones. I don't think you can say the same thing for Rings of Power. Rings of Power was absolutely made for Tolkien fans and fans of this franchise. Which isn't bad. It's not the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, I think it's kind of limiting for this, especially since it's like one of the most expensive TV shows out there. Now, with that said, I did enjoy season 2. I don't think it was like the greatest thing ever, but I did like it. But we do have some updates on what's going on with season 3. Or the future of it in general. Let's see. We have a log line about what season 3, about what we can expect in season 3. It says the Hollywood Reporter can reveal the show is executing a major time jump going into the new episodes, with Sauron now crafting the iconic One Ring. Here is the exclusive log line. Jumping forward several years from the events of season 2, season 3 takes place at the height of the War of the Elves and Sauron, as the Dark Lord seeks to craft the One Ring that will give him the edge he needs to win the war and conquer all Middle Earth at last. So it sounds like they jumping right into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Like, I like that idea because that was something that, if I'm not mistaken, we'd never got a chance to really see. We got little flashbacks of it. We got little, mentions of it. But if you're going to kick off the show in the middle of that war, in the middle of that battle, I like that idea. I like that idea. Let's get right into the meat of potatoes, and maybe even end it off in the third war, where things really get bad. Like I would not mind if they go that route with it. But if you are a fan of Rings of Power, how do you feel about what they're doing for season 3? Is this something you're interested in? Maybe you don't even care. I don't know. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments. Let's kind of stay in this realm and talk about them dragons. So House of the Dragon, we had our season 2. And y'all already know, once season 3 comes out, we definitely covering that too. But we do have some updates about what we can expect for season 3. And that is going to be interesting, given the fact that they cut out a lot of I think it was like 2 episodes from season 2. Instead of giving us 10, they ended up giving us only 8 episodes. Hold on one second. Why is my stuff all choppy? What is going on? Hold on one second. Oh, I think I know why. Give me 1 second. Maybe that's why. Okay. 1 second, guys. I think this whole thing was getting choppy. Okay. Maybe that fixed it. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. Sorry for that. But yeah, House of the Dragon. So we do have an update. This is from the head, HBO's head of drama series and films, Francesca Orsi. And what does she have to say? She says here, season 3, it's going to include the much anticipated battle of the gullet between the blacks and the greens. And that is where we're going to get in season 3. She said, you know what? It was worth the wait. I'm so glad we waited because it's going to be better than ever. And I don't think we had the time at that point to do what it is that we've achieved now in this season. So in other words, they needed more time to cook, especially if they're doing this battle of the gullet. And we do have an update here for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. This is another spinoff for Game of Thrones. It's a 6-episode first season. It is based on the first book, The Hedge Knight. I have not read the book, so I don't know what that means. Orsi goes on to say, I've seen all 6 episodes now. I'm sorry, this is Martin. This is George R.R. Martin. He said, I've seen all 6 episodes. The last 2 were in the rough cuts, and I love them. Dunk and Egg have always been favorites of mine, and the actors we found to portray them are just incredible. So it's funny and interesting that George R.R. Martin found time to watch them 6 episodes, but couldn't write 6 pages to his final book, or the final, what is it? Ice and Fire? Is that what the last book is? Dancing of the Dragons? I don't know. This man finds time to do everything and anything except write this book. At this point, I would not be surprised, and I don't wish this on him, but time is ticking. He gonna pass away, and they just gonna have AI finish the book. And I do wonder if he's just like, is he stalling? Winds of Winter, thank you. Is he just stalling? Because think about it like this. The longer he does not make this book complete, the longer he stays relevant. And I'm just sitting here wondering, like, bro, I would rather, and I would hope that you just finish the book and just tell us that you ain't finished. And that way, when you do pass on, at least we can have the finished copy and we can move on. Because this dragging, it's ridiculous. And I'm just sitting here wondering, like, What needs to happen? Do we need to boycott George R.R. Martin? Do we have to sit here and be like, hey, man, we're not going to give you no attention. We're not looking at your blogs. We're not going to give you nothing until you finish that dang on book. Because I don't know what else to motivate this man. I don't know. I wish HBO would stop bothering him. Stop asking him questions. Stop showing him stuff. You distracting him. Anyway, Orsi goes on to say, we're not picking it up officially, the Seven Kingdoms, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but it's looking very good. We're looking at it as a holistic piece with seasons 2 and 3 because there are 3 novellas. And they go on to say the role of Egg only spans not even a year. So you have to roll it into season to season pretty quickly because the little kid will grow up too quickly if we wait too long. So we're thinking about that in long terms of pickups. I love the fact that they're even conscious about this. I love the fact that they're like, okay, if we're going to do this, we got to shoot, back to back, or we got to shoot soon. We can't keep drawing this out because you know how fast them kids grow up. But here's the funny thing. If you've watched Game of Thrones, they are not afraid to recast people. You literally could be in the middle of a season and one episode, Dario, is one way, and then there's somebody else coming in to play the role. You'd be like, wait a minute, who is this? Who is going after Khaleesi now? Wait, what? Who? So they're not opposed to recast. I don't know why she's pretending like they can't just recast that little boy. But yes, they are going to have to get up on this. But anyway, especially my book readers and stuff. Is this gullet battle finna be that? Is it going to be that good? Because they're hyping this up, talking about like, hey, this battle right here, like, is this Battle of the Bastards level? Is that what we talking about? Because if that's the way they're gonna kick off season 3, yikes. Yeah, hold on now. Let me go to my little resident experts. Kiki, what you say? Yes. Okay. My man Johnny, the battle was crazy. Okay. Listen, say less. And I love the fact that I don't know what to expect. I love that. I'm just going to walk in and I'm just going to come in and we're just going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. So let's hope that this goes very well for them. But I am excited. I like what HBO is doing because one thing about HBO, they will always pick and choose their battles. They know where to go, what to do. They know when things are going a little too far and they're like, nah, this ain't good enough. So I like that about them, and I'm hoping that we can definitely get some good quality out of them. All right. Let us move on. Let me see if I could pull this up. Yeah, I think this is what was slowing me down earlier. Where are you?
Okay. Will greet me very warmly.
There we go. Hold on, Colman. Hold on. All right. Let's talk about Colman Domingo and Marvel. So Colman Domingo has long been speculated prior to this, as in speaking with Marvel, having conversations. I mean, we've all sat here and talked about which characters he would be really good for in the MCU. I gave y'all my list of characters. I think he would have been good as Kang, to replace Jonathan Majors if they wanted to go that route. Who else did I say? I forget everybody that I said. Oh, I said Brother Voodoo, I think would have been a good one. I also believe that he would have been a good Magneto. Oh my goodness, I got into so much trouble when I was talking about Denzel as Magneto. Boy, when I tell you, people online was getting in their feelings. How could you have Denzel Washington play a Holocaust victim? Well, maybe he wouldn't be a Holocaust victim. Like, y'all ever heard of variants? No, he has to play Eric. He has to play Magneto. I was like, wait a minute. Last time I checked, we had 2 Lokis, and one was called Sylvie, and they were both Loki. So you mean to tell me we can't have 2 different characters that just so happen to both be called Magneto? Where's y'all imaginations? Anyway, but I did mention some other characters as well. But anyway, we do have Colman Domingo here on this interview, and he is discussing his conversations with Marvel and the roles that they talked about. So I wanted to kind of go over a little bit of that, and we could just talk about it.
Been tried to secret into the universe for a while. We need to get you into the MCU, man. Have we come close?
You know what? I am now.
Well, yes.
No, but I know you want the live action. You want the live action.
I want the full Coleman. I need the full Coleman.
You want full-bodied Colman. Okay, I'm trying to give you a little bit of Norman Osborn.
No, I like it, and I've been liking it.
Yeah, Pete, you're liking it? Are you liking it?
I'm enjoying it. What's it been like to be an iconic?
I will say, I only watched 2-3 episodes of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. He is doing a very good job as Norman Osborn. I mean, it's just voice acting, but I like that. And that was actually one of my picks. I think that was one of my number ones. He could just come right in, get them crispy butter waves, and he would be perfect as Norman Osborn. I mean, if Willem Dafoe can play Norman Osborn, hell yeah, Colman Domingo could do that. So I like that idea if they go that route.
An iconic villain, albeit in.
It's cool, but I do want to get the live action out too. Yeah. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Right? Right. I mean, I would love to tear that up on the big screen. But I'm having a great time. I actually I love the animation. I love the idea of playing Norman Osborn, and then you'll see his evolution to the Green Goblin and coming.
Was that a spoiler? Not really, but I'm just all right, whatever.
Seasons, which would be very cool.
Amazing. You know, so, I mean, I know you were made aware because people kept asking you about all the Kang rumors and everything. Like when you heard about that, like, oh, they're going to recast it with Colman. Do you initiate conversations with like your folks, say like, can I talk to somebody at Marvel and see if there's something to talk about?
Listen, after a while, when it was constantly in the press and on places like, Twitter, I was like, wait a minute. Is this true? Am I being talked about for gigs? So I literally called up my team and said, are you guys having conversations that I don't know anything about? They're like, no, I don't know. And then I was like, are you guys being cagey or what? And they weren't. I don't think so. But I think that there had been conversations of me coming into Marvel in some way. So we did follow up with a sit-down meeting.
Now, I just want to give some context, and I also don't want to get copyrighted, so that's why I'm interrupting this. But keep in mind that one of the reasons why Kang the Conqueror was brought up, not only because of the whole Jonathan Majors stuff or whatever, but it was also because of Coleman's own admission, where he had said in previous interviews that he wanted to be in the MCU, he wanted to play a role in Marvel, and he specifically said that he wanted to play a villain. So it was like the perfect timing at that point to be like, well, y'all trying to get rid of Kang, y'all actors in trouble, you're a very good actor, why don't you become Kang? So that's where the whole Kang stuff came up for anybody that needed that context.
With the heads of Marvel. So I did do that. And we talked openly about the landscape of Marvel and or even like the Kang rumors. And I personally knew that, like, listen, I'm just all about energy, and I just want to like do things that make sense and brings gentle energy. But I feel like I want a role to be mine, whatever that role is, whatever I develop. I don't want to, something didn't feel right of me, like, oh, would I replace someone or so? I said, no, I want to build something from the ground up that's my own. So I feel like that was never a conversation from my point of view. You know what I mean? If I was discussed, I still don't know if I was discussed, but I just know that I would want to build something from the ground up. So there's still talks.
Okay, so I hate this because I see both sides of this. On one side, and this is more of like, on one side, I totally hear him. I totally understand. he wants to come in, he wants to do his own thing, he wants to build up his own character, and not follow in another actor's footsteps. Now, I get it. I understand that. Maybe you don't want to have the comparisons. Maybe you don't want to, maybe this is just an actor thing. I don't know. Maybe you're going to feel some sort of internal pressure to do more or be more, whatever. At the same time, while I understand and I respect that position, I do respect it. I mean, I personally would kind of push back because I'm like, yo, we didn't get a whole lot of Kang in the first place. Okay, like Kang got kind of cut short. Not to say that we would forget about Jonathan Majors, but we still would need to see the infinite amount of variables that come with Kang. And that's kind of the thing, right? Like, Kang is a character that should be and could be an actor's dream because he can be and do whatever, right? Like, so I kind of wonder if Marvel was even able to like explain that to him, to be like, listen, even if you're coming into this character or even if you're entertaining the role of Kang, he has an infinite amount of like variance, which means pick one of these characters that you want to play. Which one? Do you want to be Kang number 5? You want to be Kang number 55? Or do you want to be Kang number 112822152? Like, you can make it whatever you want him to be. So, I'm not going to be heartbroken if Colman Domingo does not end up being Kang, because I think there's still room to bring Jonathan Majors back, especially if he has a successful run with Magazine Dreams and the other movie that he's going to be coming out with. If the public outcry is positive, if he's not being, getting negative headlines, Jonathan could come back. But the MCU does need a Norman Osborn. We don't have one. And yeah, like I would love for Colman Domingo to step into that role. I think he would be fantastic. Listen, I don't have a problem with seeing Colman Domingo beating up on Tom Holland. Like, I feel like that would be a role worthy for Colman Domingo, because that was always my concern for him. When I proposed like all these different roles for him, I was like, listen, don't be like Giancarlo. Okay. And we're going to talk about that later. Don't be like Giancarlo, because I look at both of y'all as incredibly talented actors. And there's no reason why y'all should settle, even if it's a new character, for little supporting side characters that nobody will care about. So, if he can be Norman, or if he can be something else that is of equal value or higher, that's what I'll be rooting for, and I'll be happy for him. But anyway, you guys let me know, how do you feel about how Colman feels about not following up in someone else's footsteps? Do you want to see him as Kang? Do you want to see him as Norman Osborn? Maybe you want to see him as someone else. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Rabia, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. All right, we do have all right, we did Colman. What else are we gonna do? Okay. Yeah, let's do a quick X-Men update. So the X-Men, they're coming, right? They are coming. We know that. We've seen little hints of them here and there. So we have y'all boy Nate Moore, who has been going on a press tour for Captain America 4, and he has spoken about the introduction of the X-Men and what's happening. So I'm going to talk about what he mentioned, and I do want to give just a slight heads up. There is a mild, super mild spoiler that he's going to talk about. I don't even know if it is a real spoiler, because they said it in the trailers. Like, it's Marvel put it out there. So I guess if they put it out, maybe it's not a spoiler. I don't know. So just in case, if you're like, I don't want to know nothing, maybe you walk away. But to me, it's not the biggest deal. So that's the only reason I'm even talking about it. But anyway, there is a connection. And this is one of the reasons why he was even asked about this, because he is still a producer on Captain America. And yes, he's still a producer on Black Panther. Yes, Nate Moore is leaving. Okay, I need people to understand, just because he's leaving does not mean that he has left. He's still employed under Marvel. Once he's done with Black Panther 3, then he will be gone. Okay, so y'all gonna be stuck with him for another couple of years. Okay. Anyway, they made some comparisons here with Captain America and the X-Men. And one of the things here was that, of course, after Eternals, we found out that, you know, the Celestial was turned into a new metal, which, of course, the trailer revealed was adamantium. And for those of y'all that don't know, adamantium is the metal that is covered all over Wolverine's skeleton, and that's what makes up his claws. You know, in the Captain America 4, the main premise is about how all these nations are squabble up over the discovery of that metal. Now, this is where Nate Moore steps in when it comes to the X-Men. Now, says Marvel producer Nate Moore says that there was a cooling off period after Disney purchased the rights to the X-Men, which is why Marvel's mutants didn't immediately rush in to join the movies and TV shows. But that period is now officially over. Now, he says this, now that we can build the path towards X-Men, we want to start sprinkling in these things so that it doesn't feel like you're going to drink from a fire hose when that movie comes, so that the MCU starts to lay the groundwork for what could come. What kind of analogy is that? I think what he's trying to say is Captain America 4 is there to kind of serve as a way to ease people into the X-Men. But my thing is like, haven't y'all been doing that? Didn't you bring in, y'all wheeled in Professor X and Doctor Strange too? Like, y'all showed Beast in the Marvels. You got Gambit and Wolverine in a whole movie. Like, what? Just bring the X-Men. What? We don't need to be eased in. Just bring them on. We've been waiting. We've been waiting a long time. A long time. Now, I will say, I agree with the idea, or I wouldn't say I agree. I understand taking a long break to get that nasty taste out of people's mouth with what Fox was giving us with the X-Men. Fox had such a spotty record with the X-Men. Now, I'm not saying that all of it was trash. They did have some good movies. First Class was good. Days of Future Past was good. Logan, excellent, right? But they had some trash. Last Stand, trash. What was that? The Dark Phoenix, trash. Apocalypse, trash. Like, it was just not good. It was just not all that good. Shout out to X2, by the way. So anyway, I guess they wanted to kind of make people forget about it, and that way they could bring on their own version of X-Men. But honestly, I think that, like, y'all should have pulled that out a long time ago. Like, when that ship was sinking, y'all should have pulled out that X-Men and focused all your energy on that. But that's neither here nor there. Now, he goes on to say this. What we didn't want was Tiamat, the Celestial, to be popped in the background of a bunch of different movies without any context or story. So we wanted to make sure when we went back to that idea, we had a really good reason to do so. Merging Tiamat with the idea of it being the birthplace of adamantium, we thought was really interesting because it's something that's only in the MCU. Obviously, we take our cues from publishing a lot. He means the comics, but we are building a massive story in the MCU, and we wanted to start to layer on what we've done in the past to make it all feel like one cohesive story. Okay, so in other words, y'all did the whole celestial thing because you just really wanted to have the MCU have something unique onto itself that was not in the comics. I guess. I mean, my thing is this though, like you can tweak stuff, but straying too far from the source material, that's where things get even riskier. You get very risky the further away you go from the source material. I'll give you an example. I'm watching I told y'all before, My Adventures of Superman. It's not your traditional story for Superman. It's not the traditional origin story. It's not the same storyline. It's familiar, but they remix it a little bit. And they remix it to the point where it's like, oh, I know this character, I know this storyline, but y'all are telling me from a different angle or a different perspective, or maybe you're changing it just a little bit, and that makes things more interesting. I don't know if that's what's happening right now with the mutants, X-Men, or whatever in the MCU. I mean, the closest we got to a mutant was Kamala in the MCU, like MCU proper. Okay. Like what are you gonna do now that we have this adamantium? Are you about to bring in a fresh new Wolverine, one that's not been very old? I don't know. Like y'all just need to be careful. Y'all need to be very careful with what y'all do because you need some wins. You need some wins if you're Marvel at this point. But anyway, what do you guys think about this slow, easy introduction to the X-Men? Does this work for you? Let's also not forget, you still have Secret Wars coming up. You still have Avengers Doomsday. You still have the speculation that they might just go ahead and reboot everything in some way, shape, or form. So I don't even know if this is necessary, but I don't know. You guys let me know whatever you think in the comments down below. All right. Shogun, what you got? Thank you so much. MCU took their time introducing Avengers. Maybe that's their secret sauce, the long build up again. But yeah, these cameos are crumbs of a build up. So here you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I think that there's a difference in the times that we're in now. And this is one of the issues I have that I really wish people would take into consideration. The way we, the audience, were in 2008 is very different than the way we are now in 2025. Our expectations are incredibly different. Our the bar for Marvel changes with every property. Now I'm gonna talk about that a little later because that's part of a little mini rant that I have. But I don't know if you can go back to the same well that made you successful because you're a different animal now. You're in a different level now. To me, it's kind of like a similar argument about which characters Marvel is choosing to use. Yeah, when we had zero expectations, when nobody was really checking for you, and you want to use some bottom of the barrel characters, sure, take those risks. We didn't care. We didn't know what you was doing. But once we saw you hit your groove, once we saw you really starting to get into stuff, we was like, wait a minute. And you got all your characters back? Can you go ahead and bring us like the X-Men, please? Can you bring us the heavy hitter? Bring us Spider-Man movies. Give us a Hulk movie. Like, now we're ready for your A game because we've been playing with your C game for a long time. So, Again, you're not wrong with the long build up. I mean, maybe it'll work, or maybe at this point, people will get frustrated because they're like, listen, I've been waiting 15 years. You know, I don't have time. But we'll see. Thank you for that, Shogun. Let's see. Oh, I do want to address that. What's up, Ism? No Fantastic Four coverage, because when I tried to bring up the trailer, they were not playing nice and they were trying to copyright and block me. So just to give you an idea, I mean, the trailer looked fine. It was like, all right, they're from the 60s. Here comes Galactus. Like, I'm not excited for Fantastic Four. Like, I'm not, like, I'm just indifferent. Fantastic Four is not a property that excites me. I don't think it's going to be trash. I think it's probably going to be a good movie. But it's just not something that gets me going. I'm not like, oh, here comes Fantastic Four. I don't care. Now, if you tell me T'Challa's in there, if you tell me there's a Black Panther in that universe, now you have my attention. But yeah, no, I think Matt Shakman should do a good job with the movie. The cast, I do really like them. I liked how comic accurate they were. They're definitely going for that retro vibe. But it's just not something that's, like, I'm not, like, I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it. Like, I'm just not excited, and I think that's the real difference. Okay, what else? But we can talk about this. So there was another trailer that dropped during the Super Bowl while some of y'all Chiefs was out there losing. Shout out to the Eagles. They did a good job. But we do have another Thunderbolts trailer. Now, I had only seen images of the trailer. I actually missed the trailer. So I figured, we can go ahead and watch it here. Some of y'all probably already seen it. But I kind of want to see what all the hoopla is about, because everybody was like, oh my gosh, Thunderbolts, interesting. So I'm like, all right, we'll go ahead and check it out then. Let me get this all nice and prepped. And then, of course, let's do this properly. All right. Okay, so this is the latest trailer for Thunderbolts. Let's check this out.
Let's talk facts. The Avengers are not coming. Who will keep the American people safe?
There's some big threat out there, and you are gonna help me stop it.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
So none of us comply? So what, we all just punch and shoot?
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Stop! Please, John, stop!
Where were you?
Where are you?
Everyone here has done bad things. You can't escape the past. Hey, it's like your mind is somewhere else.
So you can do something about it now, or live with it forever.
This could get messy.
No shit.
You thought you were gonna be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
Guessing that's
We can't do this. No one here is a hero.
Lena, when I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
Okay, that was really good.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
God, thank you.
This has makings of team that can rise to glory. Bring light from the darkness. This team can be the heroes on the Wheaties box with a little giddy toy.
Okay, Buck.
Alexi, have you slept?
I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'd like not to die today, so maybe somebody else should be driving.
Okay. All right. Listen, that looked cool. That was cool. That was cool. Definitely looks like it's gonna have enough action. Definitely looks like it is going to get people at least interested. So I'm okay with this. I am okay with this. My only concern is I hope it doesn't try to be too funny. That's my biggest concern right now. Please do not try to be too funny and try to do the most. I'm not a fan of Red Guardian. Like, I did not like how they used them in What If season 3. I don't need him to be my comic relief. I feel like when you're dealing with characters like this, like you're talking, this is basically Marvel's Suicide Squad. Let's just be honest, okay? Like, this is the Suicide Squad. I don't need humor from them. I really wish Marvel would get this. And let me just say, this is to Kevin Feige. I totally understand that for Marvel as a whole, you want to have some light moments here or there. I don't think you need that for every single movie. It is very okay to have a Marvel movie actually just be serious, especially when it's dealing with serious stuff. That's all I'm saying. Now, if you want to make the funny, do it around the funny characters. If I go watch an Ant-Man movie, I expect it to be funny. If I go see Deadpool, I expect it to be funny. If you're talking about, hey, you about to see a Black Widow and some super soldiers, and I don't really want to see funny with that. Like, funny don't really go with that to me. So anyway, like just but other than that, Sentry looks interesting. I'm not gonna spoil the whole thing with Sentry for those of y'all that don't know. But can I put this out there? Now listen, if this theory is already out there, I don't know, because I don't watch other channels like that. So I don't know what to tell you. But what's interesting about the whole Sentry thing, at least the leading assumption is that he is a super soldier gone wrong, right? Like, he was somebody that they were experimenting on, and all of a sudden, something went wrong with him. So they got to send a team of super soldiers and other people to go get him, calm him down. I don't know, whatever, right? So my theory when it comes to Sentry is that I think that, yeah, we know that there's always been tests with the super soldier serum, obviously, but I think that this is actually going to tie in Secret Invasion, because, spoiler alert, in case you forgot, Secret Invasion is where we learn that Nick Fury had been collecting the DNA samples of all the Avengers and all these superpowered beings and stuff for a long time. So I believe that Sentry is a byproduct of them taking the super soldier serum and the DNA of, like, Captain Marvel and other heroes, and trying to make some sort of weird concoction with that. And Sentry is going to be the very first experiment from that. That's my theory as to why and how. Because think about it. Why would the super soldier serum just automatically make you fly, or pretty much make you like Superman, right? That's who Sentry is. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that Secret Invasion, I know that put a bad taste in y'all mouth, do y'all think that that might be a connecting point to what's going on in Thunderbolts? I swear, if this theory is, if nobody else has said it, if no one else has said it, and y'all see it pop up on a certain channel, don't do it. Just let them know. Anyway, y'all let me know. What do you think about the Thunderbolts trailer? I am absolutely not watching any more trailers from that. But whatever you think, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Mike, what you got? See, that Chiefs comment wasn't even necessary. Mike, I'm sorry, man. I forgot to check in on you, bro. I'm sorry. I know you was rooting for the Chiefs. And you know what? Listen. After that first offensive pass interference call, I was sitting there like, hey, here we go. Right? The fix is in. Here we go. But after that interception and the other interception and the couple of sacks and the turnovers and the other interception, that's when I was like, well, even the refs was like, hey, man, we can't help you if you giving the ball away. Listen, that was the worst I've ever seen them play. And this is why I was speculating on the whole fixes in thing, because when I watched them throughout the season, I was like, nah, y'all not playing the way that y'all used to play. And I noticed as a Bears fan, because y'all got Nagy over there as your offensive coordinator. And Nagy wasn't doing us no favors either. So I was sitting there like, man, y'all suspect as hell, and y'all got exposed. And it's sad. But listen, getting to the Super Bowl 2 times in a row is hard. The fact that y'all got to 3 and 1-2, you should be proud. There is nothing to be ashamed of, except for all them damn turnovers. Because yikes. I was looking at Patty like, bro, what are you doing? Who are you throwing it to? You don't even look right now. But anyway, sorry about that comment, bro. Sorry about that comment. I hope they fire Nagy. Y'all need to fire Nagy like right now, because we didn't want him. He was trash over here too. We did not want him. Tell Andy to go head back to calling them calls, call the plays, because Nagy is going to bring y'all down. I promise you this. All right, let's move on. Which one do we want to do? I got Black Panther, and then I got Captain America stuff. Do we want Black Panther? We might want Black Panther. All right, let's get the Black Panther out the way. We'll save the Captain America stuff for later. All right, so Captain America. Black Panther 3, we got a couple updates here because y'all boy Nate Moore has been on a tour for Captain America, Brave New World. And since he is still the active producer on Captain America and on Black Panther 3, he had some, people were asking him comments about it. And again, just for the people that are new, yes, Nate Moore is leaving Marvel, but he has not left Marvel, which means he's still going to be here for the next couple of years until the end of Black Panther 3. That will be his last project. So y'all still got to deal with him. Anyway, shout out to brother Jamal. He interviewed Nate Moore and asked him some questions. But this was not so much about Black Panther 3, but more so about, I believe it was the passing of Chadwick and like how they were able to move forward. So I'm not sure if the audio is all that great or not, but let's check this out.
As an EP, on the business side of that tragedy, did you think that y'all would be able to move on with the?
In case y'all couldn't hear it, I don't know if that's too low or not. That's the highest the volume is. But he was just asking, as an executive producer, were you guys able to move on after Chadwick's passing? So you might want to turn your volume up just a little bit for this.
With that franchise?
Not necessarily. I mean, it was obviously a shocking loss because Chad was such a big part of that character, even in Civil War, and people make movies. You have an emotional attachment to people, and so Coogler and I certainly had really hard conversations initially of whether or not we just had it in us to go back to that world. And we talked to Chad's widow, actually, who who kind of inspired us to keep going because she understood in the way that Chad did, probably more than any of us, frankly, how much that franchise and the world of Wakanda meant to people.
Ooh, let me go back to that. Now, this is new information that we're hearing publicly, that they went back and they spoke to Chad's widow. Not his brother, but his widow. And I want you to pay attention to the key thing that he said, that they were inspired by her to keep going, because when they heard about Chadwick passing, Ryan and Nate were kind of waffling on whether they could even go on, whether they can even we're not even talking about recasting T'Challa. Could they even do a Black Panther 2? Okay, that's what the decision making was. So let's hear that one more time.
So Coogler and I certainly had really hard conversations initially of whether or not we just had it in us to go back to that world. And we talked to Chad's widow, actually, who kind of inspired us to keep going because she understood in the way that Chad did, probably more than any of us, frankly, how much that franchise and the world of Wakanda meant to people. And then you just have to figure out how you move on without doing something that feels sort of counter to the emotions you're feeling. And hopefully we did that with Wakanda Forever, but it really was a love letter to Chad.
Okay. The other thing to consider here, he said, like, she kind of inspired them to keep going because Chadwick knew how important it was. Now, this is something that I have been talking about for years now. And I want you to understand how he was careful with his wording. He was careful in his wording in terms of saying how important the franchise was to keep going. He's not talking about the character. That is the very specific thing that is a huge difference, okay? Because if you think about it, that's what Wakanda Forever was. Wakanda Forever was just the franchise moving forward with the main character not moving forward, okay? So in other words, for some of y'all that are just not familiar with the dynamics of what I'm talking about, imagine you're watching a Batman movie and Robert Pattinson passes away, and in the Batman 2, they don't recast Batman. They make a movie that just talks about Gotham and all the characters in Gotham, but no Batman. That's how significant T'Challa is to the franchise. But he had a different perspective, which was, oh, okay, you're telling me Chad believed in the Black Panther franchise? Great, we're going to run with that. Now, of course, you know, shout out to the internet. We definitely got some more receipts. Where is it? I think this one is it.
We'll make moves.
Let me fast forward because this was part of the podcast. So there is a Wakanda Forever podcast. And in this podcast, you actually had Chadwick's widow that was speaking about the conversations and Chad's passing and all that. So keep in mind what you heard from Nate. Oh, the widow, you know, she inspired us to keep the franchise going. And, you know, listen to that. Remember that. And listen to what she actually said.
The question that's on all of the fans' minds, like, you know, what are you going to do? And it was pretty soon after his transition that the team, you know, Kevin, Nate, Ryan had said that they were not going to recast him.
Ooh, do y'all remember that? Ooh, this is coming from her mouth now. I want y'all to remember that. Okay, because a lot of people, we about to go into this. Y'all remember all the vitriol, all the venom, all the hate and negativity that came out to the people that were supporting the recast T'Challa. It's too soon. It's too soon. What are y'all doing? And I kept telling y'all, excuse me, we are only reacting to what Marvel started. I remember when Chadwick passed away, it was like maybe a day or two, if that. Screen Rant went ahead and started posting up an article about how, who's all the people that could play Black Panther. And everybody was like, take that down. The man ain't even buried 6 feet under yet, and y'all already talking about a recast. That was all over the board. They took that article down because of all the public backlash of them talking about a recast too soon. And guess what? I wasn't talking about a recast either. I didn't say no. I was like, man, let these people mourn. I was still mourning. I was still in tears. I was still in shock of this man dying after that phenomenal film that came out. And then it was not only, a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two later, Marvel came out and was like, we're not going to recast. So y'all made this decision not to recast, and then you went to the Widow? So I just want to make sure, because people got short memories and they don't always want to put things in the right context, that Marvel kicked this off first. They made this decision first, okay? Everything else has been a reaction to what they decided. And leave the Widow out of this, because she clearly was not even in the conversations of whether y'all was going to recast or not. Y'all made that decision on your own, okay? Y'all did that on your own. So let me go ahead. Let me go back.
Keep going.
The question that's on all of the fans' minds, like, what are you going to do? And it was pretty soon after his transition that the team, Kevin, Nate, Ryan had said that they were not going to recast him. While I try to not speak for Chad, I know it's not something he would have wanted to end because he transitioned. Right. But the thought of somebody, else just kind of coming in and playing that role, it wasn't something that I wanted to entertain. So I was really grateful that none of us had to.
Now that is so critical in what she said. Two things, and this is what I kind of don't like about this conversation. She acknowledged that Chadwick Boseman did not want Black Panther to end because of his passing. Derek Boseman, Chadwick's brother, has talked about how Chadwick viewed the role, how he viewed the franchise. He knew how important this was for all the kids and the culture, all of that. The problem that I have is that it sounds like Nate Moore, Kevin Feige, Ryan Coogler, it sounds like they picked apart what she said and was like, oh, you wouldn't want the Black Panther to end, and Chad wouldn't want the Black Panther to end. Okay, cool. We'll keep making the franchise. But if I were to assume, based off of what she's saying, based off of what Chadwick's brother was saying, I'm assuming that when Chadwick was talking about Black Panther, he was talking about all of it, not just the franchise, but the character as well. Because let's be honest, T'Challa for 50 plus years, I know he might be new to some of y'all that don't read comics, and that's okay, but for 50 plus years, T'Challa and Black Panther have been synonymous. Okay, you know why? Let me call some of y'all out right now. I'm gonna prove some of y'all wrong right now. You know how synonymous T'Challa and Black Panther are? They're so synonymous that some of y'all that wanted to give us vitriol and venom for even saying recast T'Challa, what did y'all say? What was y'all knee-jerk reaction? But anybody else can be Black Panther. Did we say recast Black Panther? We didn't. But because T'Challa and the mantle of Black Panther are so tied together, you jump to the conclusion that we was talking about the mantle and not the character. When I sit here and talk about Superman, you don't think about, Val-Zod. You don't think about no other Kryptonians. You think about Clark Kent. That's what you do. You don't think about Calvin Evans. You don't think about no other characters. You think about Clark Kent. When I talk about 007, do you sit here and think about Lashana Lynch, who actually played 007 in the last movie? No Time to Kill. Do you think about her? No, you think about James Bond. Because the title, mantle, whatever you want to call it, and the character, they're synonymous. They're tied together. So if Chadwick was sitting here saying, and we don't know exactly what words he said, but if the idea was Black Panther should not end with my passing, I think it is more than fair to go to the conclusion that he was talking about both. The character should not end with me, the franchise should not end with me, and move forward that way. But as she just admitted, Marvel already made that decision not to recast, but they came to her after they made that decision, and she communicated that Chad would have wanted y'all to keep going, and keep going. And they was like, all right, cool, we have enough. And I'm not going to put my conspiracy hat on, but this did come from, Chad's brother. He said that back then, Marvel, Disney, they wanted to push forward with the whole Shuri taking the mantle anyway. So I don't like the idea of using Chad's widow as an excuse for not recasting T'Challa. That's the part I don't like. That would, and based off of what Nate Moore said, the last thing he said in the interview was, how do we move forward with the franchise? But also, how do we make this movie that doesn't compromise how we feel? I'm paraphrasing. In other words, and I try to tell people this all the time, this was a personal, emotional feeling from Nate Moore, Ryan Coogler, and the rest of the cast and crew. They did not want to see someone else play that role because it was too emotional, it was too traumatic for them. That's why. Keep in mind, did nobody tell them to make a movie immediately? Now, I know I didn't. I wanted everybody to take their time to grieve, process, do whatever, leave the project, even whatever. Take care of yourself. But trying to end this thing that this man put his dying breath and energy into to build up, come on now. So, and I feel for her. I feel for her because, she was saying basically at the end that, like, that wasn't a decision that she would have wanted to have to make or to even deal with. Hey, we're going to recast, or hey, we're going to have somebody else come. Like, she just lost her husband. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where she's coming from. I don't put nothing negative on her at all. I hear her. I see where she was coming from. She's like, listen, I didn't even want to have to think about that. And here's the thing. She shouldn't have to. She really shouldn't. And if we're being incredibly honest here, no one should have to even think about for a second, what do you do with a culturally significant, potentially iconic character when an actor passes away? What do you do? And if any of y'all try to give me that BS about, well, you got to retire their jersey and you got to hang them up, you don't understand entertainment. Because none of y'all would find it acceptable to go 30, 40, 50 years without ever seeing another Spider-Man, Superman, or Batman or James Bond because an actor passed away. You would not. It doesn't matter how good they were. It doesn't matter how legendary they were. You would not. I say this even to this day. And I agree. There are characters that are very hard to recast. Because I would say one of the hardest characters to recast today would be Rocky. Rocky and Sylvester Stallone, y'all are tied together. But I also would not be naive enough to believe that in our lifetime, in the next 10, 20, 30 years, if Cy Stallone passes away, we not going to see another Rocky? You not going to see some studio be like, hey, can we scratch that bank one more time? You don't think we're going to see another Rocky remake at some point? I do. I believe it because there's money to be made. So anyway, that was Nate Moore giving his thoughts. And now we have a little bit clearer of a picture of them trying to move the franchise forward. But he also had another comment here. Let me get that.
You're gonna see that next.
And this is more so for Black Panther 3. In terms of what we can expect, or at least when we can expect it. This is what he had to say.
So tell me, when are we going to see that next Black Panther?
We've had early talks with Coogler. He's finishing up Sinners, which is going to be an amazing film, and then we'll get into it after that. But, it won't be before Avengers. That's our next big thing. Obviously, this year we have Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four and all to the road to Avengers, but we'll get to back to Wakanda as soon as we can.
Okay. So what we can take away from this is basically, and this is kind of what I've been concerned about. Black Panther 3 is not something that we're going to get before Secret Wars. For those of you that don't know, Secret Wars is at least believed to be a soft reboot for Marvel. In other words, all of the things that Marvel has built up in the MCU so far, Secret Wars would be the time to sit here, take it, and just be like, all right, y'all, we done with that. Now we can show you the real deal. Now we can start fresh and clean. We don't have to start with our hands behind our backs when we didn't have the character rights. Now we can tell the stories the way that they should have always been told, or the way that we want to tell them without any restrictions. That's where Secret Wars supposedly brings some hope in. So, as we know, at the end of Wakanda Forever, we find out that T'Challa has like this son that now is a bastard, and it's like, that's a choice. But Toussaint, aka T'Challa Jr., whatever you want to call him. And this is the challenge that comes in, because we're like, yo, what are you talking about? An 8-year-old little kid, 7-year-old kid, and only a couple years have gone by. Ain't nobody going to the theater to watch some 11-year-old kid become Black Panther or grow up, or not become Black Panther, and then we got to wait a whole other movie for him to grow up and take the mantle. I do not believe strongly there is an interest for that. You cannot. Now, we've already talked about, like, okay, we get it. Chadwick's is dead. We get it, but we have the multiverse. At least you could bring in a 30-plus-year-old variant, and that can wipe the slate clean, because your variant could literally be the easiest way to appease both, if not every side of the aisle of this debate. I mean, literally, Marvel has zero excuse to not use a variant, because you're not going to keep doing the multiverse, so you might as well do it now. Nobody really wants to see some little kid who, just came out of here. Like, I don't want to see him go through puberty. I'm not interested. And if anything, you can have this variant have everything that, let's just say, T'Challa did not get a chance to experience, the Chadwick T'Challa. You could have him come from a universe where he already had beef with Namor. You can have him come from a universe where he had beef with Dr. Doom, who destroyed Wakanda, just like in the comics. You can have a variant come in who is a genius, who is a crazy good fighter, who is a mastered, a strategist. You can have this person come ready-made. When you be moving into a house, what do they call it, key turn, ready or whatever. Like it's a perfect package of T'Challa that's just move in ready. He already got the background story. He already got the backdrop. You don't have to make another movie about him. You don't have to do. He's done. He's ready to go. And he could also be Shuri's brother. And I'm just saying, and for a lot of the comic purists out there, this variant could be the son of T'Chaka from another universe. Do you see how easy this works? Do you see how this variant is not Chadwick Boseman? He is a better T'Challa. He is comic accurate. Do you see how easy that is to just introduce him into Secret Wars, and then all of a sudden, boom, he just ends up staying, and he's the new T'Challa. Not to mention, because I know a lot of people have been talking about it, go ahead and cast Aldis Hodge. Go ahead. I mean, like, I have seen little to no resistance of Aldis Hodge becoming Black Panther, of him being T'Challa. I've seen little to no resistance to that. Do you want money or not? Because that kid is not going to get it for you. That kid is not going to do it. Y'all can push him as much as you want. I'm just saying it's not worth the risk. And what I'm worried about is that if it is true that they're making this after Secret Wars, y'all better find a way to like use time, reality, something. Y'all gonna have to just fix it. Just fix it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try and help y'all even more. Use the whole Secret Wars thing, the universe is reset, no more multiverse, whatever, and just call him T'Challa. When you talk about his dad, don't even say T'Chaka, don't even say T'Challa, just say my father. Like, leave it ambiguous if you have to. And I'm trying to be very generous with this. Leave enough plausible, deniability where it's like, hey, we reversed it. He said his father, and maybe Shuri's gone. I don't know. Now it's getting messy because you still gonna need her to be the brother and sister. Listen, just fix it. Please just fix it. We don't want the kid. Like, the kid is not, it's just not a good angle to go in. It's unnecessary messiness. And here's the other thing. Why would you want to sit here and propel this child storyline that was forced from Coogler? And last time I checked, the third Black Panther movie is probably going to be the last thing Coogler does with this franchise. So you just going to hand off this mess to the next person after that? Like, why don't y'all just start clean? Just start clean. It's not hard. I promise you will make another $1 billion. Wakanda Forever didn't even make that for you. And I told y'all that was going to happen because watching and paying for a funeral is not something people want to keep going back and doing. All right. I'm sorry. I was ranting again. What do you guys think about this whole Black Panther 3 happening after Secret Wars? What do you think about Nate Morris' comments? What do you think about Chadwick Boseman's widow, her comments? Whatever you think, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. All right. I see Chillmonger here. Hey, shout out to Chillmonger, man. My man's been holding it down online. Appreciate you for grabbing those videos too, man. Appreciate your work. Mike, what you got? Bro, I was done at the pick before half, and y'all laughing a little too hard in the comments. Y'all don't laugh at his Chiefs. Let them Chiefs be. Let them Chiefs. Listen, them Chiefs are done. Y'all should have never got Nagy. Y'all should have never got Nagy. I knew the season was cooked the second y'all picked up Nagy. The second, I was like, oh, hell. He don't bring nothing positive wherever he goes. It's going to be a problem, but I'm sorry for your loss. I am. Thank you for that, brother. Baker, Happy Love Day, everyone. Yes, happy Love Day to everybody. Shout out to the folks. Larry, oh my gosh, Larry, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Yo, E-Man, speaking of Chadwick putting his dying breath plus heart and soul into the character, he would go visit sick kids on the regular. Yes, he would. Should those kids not have his character to look up to because he died in real life? Imagine telling them that. Yes, I mean that, and we covered that. We talked about that. It was one of the reasons why when we were raising money with the recast T'Challa shirts that we donated to the same charity, the Colon Cancer Coalition, that Chadwick also used. So yeah, like it's definitely something that I think probably should have been the first thought before the personal thoughts. And that's just my opinion. I think that before I sit here and say, well, can I do this? I would start thinking of others first. I would start thinking of like, man, before I go getting rid of this character, what did he mean to other people? I know what he meant to me, but what did he mean for other people? What did he mean for those little kids? Do I really want to go kill him off again? Do I really want to go put people through what I think is cathartic for me? Because what's cathartic for me might not be cathartic for the masses. So, I disagree with obviously with how they went about it. But yeah, I think they should. Won't somebody think about the children? Think about the children, please. But thank you, Larry. I appreciate you. Oh, Larry, back at it. Also, imagine telling kids there's no more Superman movies because Reeve passed away. Insanity. Going to see Cat 4 in a bit, and I'm psyched. Much love. Thank you for that. And Larry, again, anytime you say Nate Moore, I think Namor talking ish. Yes, it does kind of roll into that. But yeah, I mean, but this is to your point. This is one of the reasons why I really wanted people to hear in the recast T'Challa conversation. You have the comic book fan stuff, right? But that's actually incredibly minor compared to the bigger picture. I'm not saying it's not important, but the bigger picture is Black representation. And Black representation is what trickles down to everything else. And my biggest argument was treat Black characters with the same energy that you would treat your beloved white characters and keep it all the same. If you're not going to permanently retire Superman, don't permanently retire T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I've asked. Let's keep the same energy because that's how these characters stay consistent. That's how they get their notoriety, whether they're good or bad. It doesn't matter. It's that repetition. It's that constant seeing. People talk about, oh, they didn't make another Superman movie after Reeve. Yeah, but guess what? They made a Superboy TV show a year later. Then they made more TV shows. You did not stop seeing Superman for any long period of time. If it wasn't a movie, it was a TV show. If it wasn't a TV show, it was a cartoon. If it wasn't a cartoon, it was another movie. You kept him in the public consciousness. That's what I'm saying. Do the same thing with Black characters. And I'll throw one more thing in there. I know I'm going on a rant, but even for the Black folks, because it's Black History Month, so I can talk to y'all now. A lot of y'all want to preserve Black characters and hold on to them, and that is a byproduct of the fact that you don't have enough. That is what happens when you don't have enough Black actors, when you don't have enough representation of Black characters on screen. The moment you get something really good, you want to hold on to it. You don't want to let it go and let it grow because you don't know what it's like to have the bounty of privilege that white actors and white characters have had for decades. That's the sad reality. I know it's hard, but we have to keep pushing. We have to keep getting that repetition through recasting. And that's how legends become what they are in the entertainment space. I know some people don't want to hear that, but if you look at the track record, look at the history, that's what it is. All right. Sorry. King Chad, what you got? Good job saying that, E-Man. I want Nate to leave. He is leaving. He is leaving. Leave Chad and Miss Simone alone. Chad is my favorite. Don't want him being talked about by mean people. I hear you, Chad. I hear you, and I feel you 100%. All right, let's get on to the last bit here. I believe we have, which one are we gonna do? Let's do this Captain America review. Because you know what? We need to talk. We need to talk about Captain America. And I need to get some stuff off my chest first. Because I've been hearing a lot of talk one way or another. And we need to address some things. So, first and foremost, before we get into this review, I did post my reaction to Captain America, Brave New World. Y'all know I posted on the social media, which y'all should be following and all. But then I posted, my little out of theater reaction. And boy, oh boy, when I tell you, I kept seeing people being like, "Oh, this is what E-Man mean. Oh, this is what E-Man. I don't know, man. E-Man, I don't." I'm like, wait a minute. What is going on? If I sit here and say ABC, why are some people sitting here being like, E-Man, why are you talking about XYZ? I said ABC. So this is what I want people to just kind of do this. Two things. One, please stop projecting your opinions onto other people's opinions. Let me be clear. If I say one thing, listen or go off of what I actually say and not what you think. Okay? Because what ends up happening is you misinterpret what is actually said with what you think, and you're only doing that because more than likely you're looking for confirmation bias. For example, if I sit here and say a movie it's all right, it's fine, it's cool, and let's just say in your mind you believe everyone is hating on this movie, well, if I sit here and say it's all right, it's cool, what are you going to say? Why do you hate this movie? Since when was it's all right, it's cool, it's fine equal hate? But do you notice how that just confirmed your preconceived notion that everybody hates it, and if they're not loving the movie as much as you love it, then they're haters? So we have to stop this projection of confirmation bias. Please stop. And second, just one other thing, and this is minor too. Marvel has been going on for over 15 years at this point. Can we please stop with this whole idea that other people are comparing all the other Marvel movies with Avengers Endgame and Infinity War? I be on social media a lot. I be in a lot of little circles with people talking about comic book movies. I never see people say this thing. I don't see people being like, well, that wasn't Endgame. Well, that wasn't Infinity War. I've never heard people actually say this, because last time I checked, we have so many, it's like over 35 Marvel movies. You can compare Marvel movies with other Marvel movies that are not Infinity War and Endgame. And for the record, the only Avengers movies that I compare are against other Avengers movies. Okay? So Avengers Infinity War, I'm going to compare that to Doomsday. Endgame, I'm going to compare that to Secret Wars. It does not make sense for me to compare Cap 4 with Endgame. That does not make sense. They're two different movies. They do different things. It makes zero sense. Please stop using that as a crutch. If you don't agree with somebody, that's cool, but let's stop projecting that criticism that people are not making. I've went on enough. Let's talk about Captain America 4. All right, so just as a quick little intro, Sam Wilson is now Captain America. We have a celestial that is jutting out of the Indian Sea, and because of this, Sam has to basically quell the waters between all these nations and countries that are fighting for this resource. Oh, and by the way, there's a Red Hulk that we have to deal with. Okay. So, y'all know how I get down. First and foremost, we have to talk about the good in this movie. Now, I might throw some of y'all for a loop because I know a lot of y'all think, for whatever weird reason, I hate Anthony Mackie. But guess what? He actually did a very good job in this movie. Yes, as much as I have criticized him for not having a strong ability to lead movies, never said he was a bad actor, just said he didn't have a lead actor type of quality. That wasn't the case here. That was not the case because I thought he did an exceptional job leading in this movie. Now, I'm being very specific with my words here, by the way. Okay, being very specific. I'm not saying he's Oscar award winning or nothing like that. I'm saying in this movie, he did a good job with his role. In other words, he does not hurt the movie. And I actually like that there were moments where he had a commanding presence on screen. Like, for example, when he was walking down that bunker and he was about to have his confrontation with the president, I thought he did a good job. So he did a good job in that regard. Anthony Mackie definitely was solid there. But I actually think it was a lot of the supporting cast that were here that did a wonderful job as well. You have people like Danny Ramirez, who plays Falcon, and you also have Carl Lumley, who plays Isaiah Bradley, aka the very first Captain America. I really like Danny in this one. I thought he was funny. I thought he was charming. I actually like him as the Falcon in this. So I was really, really happy with what he gave in this movie. Also, Isaiah Bradley, I thought he did a very good job. Carl Lumley as Isaiah, thought he was really good. Man, there was that one scene where you could see him kind of getting choked up about, let's just say, his situation that he was about to face. That kind of got me. It's something about seeing an old black man getting choked up by trauma that makes me also feel really sad at the same time. But that was just really good acting at that point. And then, of course, we have Harrison Ford, who, of course, come on now, this is a seasoned actor, did his thing. Probably one of my favorites in this, especially as the Red Hulk. Red Hulk was probably one of the best highlights of this movie, and it was pretty obvious since they showed him all throughout the trailers and everything. But the number one thing that Red Hulk showed me was that, so Marvel, y'all can make a decent Hulk again. Okay. Because as I've been saying for a long time, y'all have failed the Hulk for years, ever since the first Avengers movie. So seeing this Red Hulk and him in action definitely gave me more confidence, more faith that yes, Marvel could potentially actually give us a solid Hulk movie down the line. I also liked Giancarlo Esposito. I liked his role here. I thought, well, not his role. I liked his performance in this role. He was definitely giving my man Sam some problems. I like that. That was very good. And I also really enjoyed the fight scenes. The fight scenes in this movie, I thought, were shot very well. My favorite ones were probably, of course, the big battle at the end, and then the battle that took place overseas. That really reminded me more so of Top Gun Maverick. So I enjoyed that. I thought they shot it very well. And I thought the cinematography, the camera angles that they were doing while they were in flight and stuff, I thought that was handled very well also. So those were all cool. That made it entertaining. And probably last but not least, the plot itself, I thought was pretty easy and straightforward to follow. A lot of times when you get into movies that are very political, you could get a whole lot of political jargon. You can get a whole lot of, high level concepts of, yeah, there was this spy, but they were really a double, triple spy from this other country that, worked for this agency and this, that. Nah, you understood it. It was clear. It was concise. It was to the point. So I thought for those reasons, those things were all really good. Now we got to get to the bad. Okay. So first off with the bad, I know I started with my man Mackie, but I got to go right back to Sam. Sam to me was, how could I put this? My problem with Sam is that on one hand, we're supposed to be fed this idea that he's just an ordinary guy. But then, remarkably, you sitting here looking like a super soldier. I mean, you jumping around, you doing 450-degree flips, you tossing the shield with perfect accuracy. And yes, I already know he trained, we saw all of that in the Disney Plus show. But bro, come on now. It's only so many times that a regular dude like you can go through what you go through in this movie. Every time I was watching this, I was like, Sam should be either dead or in a wheelchair. I don't care if you got them lemon pepper, vibranium wings from Wakanda. I think they gave him a vibranium suit. Don't quote me on that. And if they did, that's a whole nother issue I don't like. But even with all of that said, how are you able to get up walking half of the time? I mean, my man was out here, I'm not going to spoil it, but he's been getting, injured, a lot badly. And he's just walking off. Just, I'm fine. Yes, I had that really crazy wound, but I'm fine, So, I mean, listen, the writing does try to soothe it over. It tries to throw a couple things in here by saying, hey, I trained, or hey, I did this. But all I'm saying is this film could have done a much better job at trying to show the real gap, the difference between a regular guy who's in shape, who's trained, versus an actual super soldier. Because a super soldier, they can think faster, they can react faster, they're obviously stronger, they're more durable. I didn't see a wide difference between Sam Wilson and any other super soldier so far, outside of maybe he gets a little cut on his face or something, but whatever. I think that there was also some of the fight scenes really felt recycled in this as well. You have this specific hallway scene, which looked just like the Black Widow scene from Iron Man 2. You have another certain car scene, which probably will make you think immediately to Captain America 2 Winter Soldier. So I thought that was a missed opportunity to go ahead and to just give us something a little bit more original or just step it up a notch. But that to me did not really work out too well. And then I know I said that the plot was easy to follow, but the plot to me, while it was easy to follow, it felt like it lacked any real substance or political bite to it. Now, on top of that, and that's another, we'll get into that later. On top of that, the marketing for this film, I think, showed way too much. I mean, we all knew that Red Hulk was coming. Okay, there was no way you could escape that. It was in the posters, it was in the trailers, it was everywhere. Okay, and my thing was like, listen, either the trailer showed too much, or the movie didn't have enough to give you something else besides what was in the trailer. So when you look at the movie's pacing, which the pacing was also an issue, the movie was stringing that obvious secret that Thunderbolt Ross was Red Hulk. They kept stringing that along all the way through as if you didn't know going into the movie that he was going to turn into the Hulk the whole time. So unless you came in completely ice cold and you just been living in some island somewhere and you just didn't know what was going on, to me, it felt very underwhelming to try and build up this surprise that's not really a surprise. And of course, yes, the fight scene at the end was cool. That was fine. But the journey to get there, to me, felt lackluster, given what we already knew from the series and from the trailers and posters and so on. Oh, and by the way, I wasn't a big fan of how the fight ended. I liked the fight. The fight at the end, I liked it. I wasn't a big fan of how it ended. And I'll go into that a little later. Anyway, let's kind of talk about the reason. So when it comes to Captain America, Brave New World, I thought that it was a very politically safe, average film that doesn't really move the MCU needle to me. It felt like another victim of the pandemic, kind of like the Black Widow movie. So the same way the Black Widow movie probably should have had a better reception if it had came out right before or right after Cap 3 Civil War, this movie felt like it would have done a whole lot better if it came out right after Falcon and Winter Soldier or right after Eternals, so that we could have addressed the whole Celestial thing. One way you could tell that this whole thing was dated and late was if you look at the whack, bad, single post-credit scene. What gets revealed at the end of that post-credit scene, and I would not recommend that you stay all the way at the end for that. Don't waste your 2-3 minutes. That was a nothing burger. Okay? Because how you going to sit here and tell the Marvel audiences or just general audiences as a whole about something that we've already known for the past 5 years? Like, what? So anyway, when it comes to the rating for Captain America Brave New World, I've got to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now, I actually initially started off by giving it a 7 out of 10 because I still like it. I still think it was entertaining to watch. I do not think it's a bad movie, but I did take 0.5 off only because and I'm only speaking for myself, have no desire to rewatch this movie. There's nothing in this movie that makes me want to say, let me sit down and rewatch it again. I can watch the highlights of the fights. I can watch those clips, but to sit down and watch this movie, it doesn't have enough in there for rewatchability. So that's why I'm going from a 7 to a 6.5 out of 10. And again, it's fine. It's not bad. I do think it is worth watching, but at the same time, it's middle of the road for me. Now, I do want to take a moment to talk about something. I think we need to address the big black elephant in the room. So I said that this movie was politically safe, right? And I don't even know if that's really like the best way to say it, because this movie practically moonwalked around anything socially, racially, or politically controversial. That in itself is a failure for a Captain America movie, in my opinion. Now, if you look at the Captain America stories, whether it's the comics, TV show, whatever, Captain America stories should always take on politics without any fear of backlash. Why? Because Captain America himself represents the ideals that America wants to be when it finally grows up. Cap was punching Hitler in the 1940s. Why? Because we had to fight against fascism. In Captain America Winter Soldier or even Civil War, what was Cap fighting against? He was fighting against government overreach, right? In Cap 4, y'all fighting over a misunderstanding over a medal? What's controversial about that? What is uplifting about that? What is something about that that you can walk away and be like, all right, I see what Cap is trying to uplift us to? Like, there was nothing there. So never mind the fact that in the comics, Sam's story has always been about that racial component of a black man becoming the face of America, so to speak, and having to deal with the backlash with that. Matter of fact, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So let's forget the comics. The Disney Plus show even touched on that racial component. I don't think they went deep enough, but they glided on it. Cap is supposed to take on those edgy social, political topics and help unite people to a higher moral standard. Why a higher moral standard? Because the basic requirement to be Captain America is not to have the super soldier serum, but it's to be a good man. So I would say this: shame on Marvel for being too scared to tackle that subject of race or anything else politically edgy when it came to Captain America. And then you're going to have the nerve to drop this movie during Black History Month? I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but at no point in this movie did I ever even hear the word black come up or any other racial term. They just conveniently glossed over that, and then they force-fed this idea that, oh, by the way, Sam is Cap, y'all. Yep, Sam Wilson is Captain America, and everybody is okay with it. He's not that guy that we saw that was struggling to get a loan in the bank anymore. Now he's got a fancy head HQ, and he even gets free beers. Racism is over, guys. Very disingenuous. I don't like it. It does not feel authentic, and it does not feel earned, and it does feel like y'all were just scared because of the current political climate. But if that was the case, Marvel, you shouldn't have made this movie. And it's one of the reasons why, even though I do believe Anthony Mackie did a good job in this movie, I don't believe this movie did a good job for Anthony Mackie. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Cap 4. Is it worth watching? Yes, go check it out. I'm sure many of you have already checked it out. And feel free to come on back to this video and let me know, what did you think about it in the comments down below. All right, let's kind of talk about, we're gonna wrap up. Oh wait, do I have any comments I have to address? Oh, I do. Hold on. JN, what you got? JN, we joke about your Mackie comments, but Cap 4 was mid. Ooh, the screenplay was terrible. That was the problem. It was diet Age of Ultron. Well, that's that. I mean, hey, listen, I'm at the point where, and I respect people's opinions. If you hated the movie, okay. If you loved the movie, okay. I'm just in the middle with it. That's all. I'm in the middle. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's fine. I watched it. I wasn't cringing after. So it is what it is. Mike, what you got? Do you think this is Mackie's breakout? And knowing you, I need you to be more specific with his performance, theaters, or bootleg. I would say freak. Breakout? I would say it's a breakout in Marvel. Like, I think Marvel thinks higher of Mackie than the general public does of Mackie and his performance. I'm not trying to make this no character assassination or nothing. I think because he has such a really good relationship with Marvel, they will amplify him up. But I don't really see his character getting propelled like that. Theaters or bootleg? First of all, officially, I cannot endorse bootlegs. I would say that theater is fine. Theater is fine to go watch this movie. I personally, I would just say do a matinee, $5 Tuesday, so that way you can maximize your experience, because it's hard when you have a movie that's a mixed bag and you don't know where you're gonna land, and you just got done spending $25 or whatever to go see it. If you spend $5, hey, if it's bad, it's not a big loss. If it's good, you came up. So I would say do a $5 Tuesday if you can. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. JN, the action scenes were really good though. I agree. Oh, Mike, what you got? So, well, dang then. Better question. Who had the bigger fail, Mackie or Marvel? You know what? I would probably say Marvel. And I'm only talking about in the context of this movie. Again, you cannot sit here and tell me that you're going to make a Captain America movie and be afraid to talk about political subjects because of who's currently in office right now, or the energy of the country right now. That's not why Captain America was created. Captain America was created like during World War II. Okay, like it was at the height, at the peak of fascism. Do you really think that Captain America, whether it's Steve Rogers, whether it's Sam Wilson, do you really think that they would be afraid to talk about, I don't know, authoritarianism, oligarchies? You know, do you really think that would be a problem? Y'all should have had a movie where the billionaires were starting to take over and there was no government overreach or regulations. And maybe you should talk about that. Like, that would be something Captain America would address. But I think Marvel is kind of betraying, in my opinion, because they're afraid of the backlash and the loud minority. I think that they're betraying what Captain America stands for by not addressing those hard topics. If anyone's going to talk about it, it should be Captain America, but whatever. Let's see. Mike, what you got again? 6.5 still means theater worthy. Yes. I'm surprised you thought so highly of it. I don't know why. Y'all can go check the tapes. I've been saying that I was going to give this movie a fair shot. Now, I also said that there was a lot of yellow and red flags. Okay, I did say that, but I always said I was going to give this a fair shot. I'm not going in there with bias. Give me what you got, right? So, yeah. All right, thank you for that. Appreciate you. Let's grab this last topic here, and then we get you guys out of here. We got some cat drama. So, we've talked about this. We've talked about how there were all these reshoots, and they had to bring in a whole nother person to rewrite major scenes and to just get this movie going. We heard about the rumors about how the screenings were just not good. People didn't like the politics. They thought it was boring. They had to redo the action scenes. All of this stuff, right? We also heard about how there were all these scenes that were cut out. Seth Rollins, the WWE wrestler, he was supposed to be in the movie. They cut out his whole thing. Then all of a sudden, here comes Giancarlo Esposito. And then now it's like there was a lot of stuff going on. And this movie felt very Frankenstein based off of the rumors. And in my opinion, I think that you could still see that if you watch the movie closely. You can really see where they stitched some things together. Let's see. Dang, I forgot to mention another bad in the movie. Man. Well, I'll just tell y'all. The other thing I did not like in the movie, the real villain, I thought that he was also underwhelming. I thought that they if you're supposed to be a mastermind, if you're supposed to be so smart, how is a regular guy challenging you? That, to me, bad writing. That's just as bad as Kang being defeated by super ants. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, that's a new Marvel villain problem. But back to the drama. So we know about all the reshoots and all that other stuff, right? Well, we got the director, Julius Ona, and he was addressing the whole reshoot thing. And I believe he's like, yo, that's Cap. So that's not him. I'm sorry to trigger y'all. Julius Ona addresses the reshoot rewrite process. He says, after the writer's strike, we were able to pick our pencils back up and figure out this is what we need. This is how it interfaces with other stories. We only did one period of additional photography, which is the same on all of the same movies. There are so many variables, and additional photography becomes essential to fine-tuning and coming up with the thing that we know audiences will love. So here's the problem with that. All of that sounds like Cap. Only one. So in other words, only one round of reshoots. Come on, man. Like, I know you're a brother. I know, you know, this is your first Marvel movie. Stop. Because we've seen, okay, how about this? We saw Sam and the black lady at a funeral or at a grave site on the leaked set photos. Y'all got rid of that. You can tell that in the final sequence, they're not even in the closer same locations. Like, y'all Frankenstein this movie. But hey, you know what? Whatever. Let's not take my word for it. There was a Vulture article that recently came out, and in this Vulture article, someone who was on the set came out and they was dropping some tea. They was dropping some tea about how things really were going on the set. Let's get messy and talk about it. Let's see. It says here, various members, I'm sorry, more than one person, various members of the film's recording team, in statements to Vulture, have revealed the existence of many moments of tension on set and, to a large extent, point to the same person, Harrison Ford. Yikes. One person in particular points out that although it was not their first time filming a Marvel project, it was the first time they felt the pressure and tension. Among other things, for example, certain scenes were cut out or deleted, and the on-the-fly script changes forced them to re-record many sequences. Man, how you get undermined by your own cast and crew, like just like that? It wasn't going to be a good movie, according to one worker. Someone says here, one of the sources, I think everyone on the team knew that this was probably not going to be a good movie. Some of the action sequences were not believable. Oh my God. We had a lot of frustrations on set. Now, hold on. And I'm not even going to try and use this because I don't know what scenes they're talking about. But it makes me wonder, is this what y'all were talking? Is this what I was referring to when I kept talking about how Cap looked like a super soldier? Or some, because to me, that scene in the church looked incredibly non-believable to me. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That scene in the church, I was like, nah, bro. Like, nah. Because you moving like Steve Rogers right now. I don't believe you. I don't care how much you train. Why are you not tired? You are a regular person. How are you not out of breath? I don't care how trained you are, bro. Like, you just did a whole lot and you not tired? I was tired. But anyway, the fact that this person said that there were scenes that were not believable, yikes. It says here, we had a lot of frustrations on set. Harrison Ford, whose character he compares to that of a diva. He was one of the grumpiest artists I've ever dealt with. I believe that. Harrison be looking grumpy in regular life too, so I believe that. Says here, to me, it seemed like he hated it and didn't want to do it. And when Harrison was done, he was done. Everyone did their best to make him happy. That created very uncomfortable working environment. Okay, hold on. Let's look at something. Let's look at something. I just want to bring this to y'all attention. Harrison Ford is 82 years old. If I had to still be acting and being on set and being on, man, I'd be cranky too. 82? You done earned your right to be cranky at that point. It probably was past his nap time or something. Maybe he was hungry. Maybe he just didn't want to be there. He's 82 years old. I think he could get a pass. That's all I'm saying. If you made it on this earth to 82, I think you've earned the right, especially if you're a successful actor like Harrison Ford. I'm sure you're going to find some things to be a little grumpy about. Okay? Just whatever. So I don't care about this complaint. Let's go back to the mess on the set though. Whole sequences that we shot do not appear in the film, and that is very expensive. Calling the director a whole liar. I'm not gonna say that the director was not prepared to handle that production. Basically, dealing with the egos of the A-list was the problem. It was mainly Harrison Ford, so it was a bit disappointing. At the end of the day, it was the most tense Marvel shoot I've ever worked on. Everyone felt like their butt was being squeezed a little bit. Oh my God, not the tight booty cheeks. Oh my. Okay. Wow. So, yikes. I think this completely undermines whatever the director was saying. Because think about it. You're a first-time director. You working with A-list. I would totally understand. You're like a rookie out there. You know what I'm saying? Like Harrison Ford probably telling you what to do. You know, I'm just saying I would understand that dynamic when you haven't earned your stripes and all of that. So, man, what is going on these Marvel sets though? What are y'all doing? Oof. And this might be one of the reasons why Marvel tries not to go after the big names. Now, obviously, if you get a big name, you got to think about the money, but this might be the reason why, because you probably can't control the A-listers that, you know, have earned their stripes in Hollywood. But first of all, Harrison pretty much carried this movie. Anthony did his thing. I'm just saying, I don't know if you would have had the same amount of people show up if Harrison Ford was not in this movie, and if they didn't put that shiny red Hulk to distract you along the way. So, anyway, guys, what do you think about that Cap drama? They directly contradicting the director. They talking about like we have to re-record, reshoot a whole bunch of sequence. It's sounding like they're confirming all the rumors that we heard and probably what you can see when you watch the movie. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's get to the last topic. And that is going to be about Cap's future. So Captain America, you know, played by Anthony Mackie. The question is, and somebody asked this earlier, where does this go? Like, is this, you know, a breakout moment for Anthony Mackie? Is this more of Sam? I mean, we already kind of know, or at least it's been rumored heavily, that Sam Wilson is going to be the leader of the Avengers in the future movies. So it does sound like we're going to have more of him, and that's fine by me. I don't mind that at all. But what does y'all boy think? What does Anthony Mackie think about Cap's future? And he was asked this in this interview. So they asked him, so do we have 6 years left, or is this a 10 years starting today? And Mackie was like, no. The 10 years start on the 14th. That's it. After the 14th, I got a 10-year run. I'm not trying to be a 60-year-old Captain America. That will hurt. You know what? I respect that. I respect that, because sometimes you got to know when to bow out. And I respect the fact that this man is not out here trying to pull a Hugh Jackman and play this thing until he's 90. I appreciate that. I know black don't crack. Okay. I know he could do it until he's 60, but he doesn't have to. So I appreciate that. We'll see if he sticks to that though, because when they cut them checks, maybe it's, you know, if other things are drying up, maybe he reconsiders too. We don't know. So I support that. And then he goes on to say the question is, and is there an ambition to make it a full trilogy? Do you want to lead more movies, or would we ever go back to streaming? He said, I think there's something in the idea of Captain America being people love the nature of these movies, the attitude, the realness, the groundedness of these movies. It just works in a cinematic base that I think movies Captain America deserves to be on the big screen because people love Captain America and that's where they want to see him. I disagree. I do not agree with Anthony Mackie because I do not believe that people are going to just see Captain America. I think people are going to see the situations and the stories for Captain America. I mean, I'm not saying Captain America is a bad character. I'm just saying that I was more interested in what, like, his origin story, sure. The whole, I mean, think about it. What made Winter Soldier so dope? It was the story and him fighting against Bucky, right? Fighting against the Winter Soldier. Them fight scenes was on point. But do y'all remember the real thing that got people talking when we found out what the heck was going on with Hydra? When we found that story point out, we was like, oh my God. It was the story reveal that no one saw coming. Because remember, this was the age before the leakers and scoopers and rumor people were spoiling things online. Everyone was blown away, and we love that movie to this day. That's why y'all really love Winter Soldier. That story was amazing. Even Civil War. Think about this. Y'all didn't show up for Cap. Did y'all? Stop. Ooh, don't lie. I want to see y'all right now. Don't lie. Y'all did not show up for Captain America and Captain America Civil War. No, you didn't. No. You came up because this was Avengers 2.5. You came up because y'all saw Black Panther. Guilty. You came up because you saw Spider-Man in the trailer. Not one of y'all came up for Captain America. So yes, I don't agree. We do not show up for Captain America. And if we really being honest, I know half of y'all only showed up for Cap 4 because they put that red shiny Hulk in there. Don't lie. I know it's Black History Month, but don't lie. A lot of y'all showed up because of the big red Hulk. So, no, Anthony Mackie, we are not coming for Captain America unless, like I said before, you stay true to Captain America and y'all don't run from political, sociological, topics or subjects. You cannot run from that. You have to challenge those things. You have to talk about discrimination. You have to talk about authoritarianism. You have to talk about corrupt governments. You have to talk about fascism. You have to go into all of that type of stuff because that's what Captain America fights against to bring us to a higher level. I'm totally here for more of Captain America and other things. I'm totally here for that. You want to put him in Doomsday? You want to put him in Secret War? Yes, I like that. But a solo movie about what? What are you gonna tell me about Captain? What? Y'all couldn't even let Sam Wilson have a love interest. I'm pretty sure the black girl in the movie was supposed to be a love interest, but they just friends. What are we supposed to show up for? What is it? because it's clearly not about getting the mantle. Y'all clearly bypassed that for the movie. What are we showing up for? It's all the other stuff that's not Captain America centered. You showed up for the medal, for the adamantium. Why? Because you know that connects to the X-Men. I'm just saying, what specifically builds up Sam? What builds up Cap? Anyway, so I disagree. That's just my opinion. Y'all don't have to agree. Y'all can have your own opinions. That's cool. But you guys let me know. What did you think about Anthony Mackie's comments? Hey, maybe you do come for Captain America. Let me know why. Maybe you don't. Let me know why as well. Whatever you think, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, let me grab these last ones. JN Hugh needs those Marvel checks due to a divorce. Ooh, yeah, that is a factor. That could be a factor. JN, the Russos need to direct the next Cap movie. That, you know what? And I mean, maybe I didn't want to throw it too much on the director because they did have the whole writer strike, and that could mess up a lot of stuff. So I didn't want to just throw it all on that guy like that because of so many other issues. So, but yes, if the Russos get back in the driver's seat with Cap, what are they? They like 3-0 with him, 4-0. Like, the Russos know Cap. Shogun, what you got? Do you think they'll have Mackie Cap take the serum in the future? I hope not. I know that a lot of people are pro having Sam take the serum. Here's why I would say this would be my analogy as to why that's not a good idea. One, he's not Steve Rogers, right? There's that point. He's not a super soldier. That is what makes him unique. And the moment you take his uniqueness away and you make him just like anybody else who happens to have the shield, in my opinion, that makes him almost replaceable or interchangeable. So, in other words, since we just got done watching Thunderbolts, you got how many super soldiers in there? Like 3 super soldiers running around. So it's kind of like, oh, well, what's the difference? Why can't that person get it? Why can't Bucky get it? Why can't the other, fake Captain America get it? I don't like that. So Sam not having the super soldier serum is what makes him special, because it forces you to look at all his other qualities. It forces you to realize this guy is like a really good person. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a good leader. Maybe he's a good strategist. Whatever it is that other super soldiers don't have. Second, if that still doesn't register with you, I would argue this. Asking for Sam to take the super soldier serum is like saying Batman needs to take that pill that gives him powers equal to Superman. If Batman could do everything Superman could do, he wouldn't be Batman. Right? He wouldn't he wouldn't have that mystique. He wouldn't have that edge. He wouldn't be that cool. We wouldn't even talk about prep time. We wouldn't talk about nothing. Batman being Superman is not interesting. One of the main reasons why Batman is always so interesting, and it's one of the reasons why we always see Batman versus Superman and who would win in a fight and all that, is because he's a normal guy. He's crazy. He's crazy. Let's not ever forget that. Batman is nuts. But he's a regular human being that trained, that smart, and all of that. And he's able to be on the same level as other super enhanced people. So Sam, to me, is kind of, I'm not saying he's Batman, but he's kind of in the same predicament. He's a regular guy who's good enough without any extra perks to be in the same vicinity as all these other Avengers superhero type people. And I think that's what needs to stay that way so he can stay unique. So I would argue, no, he should not take the super soldier serum. Thank you so much for that, Shogun. I appreciate you. All right. Woo, I think I need to read the comments later. Y'all was mad. Where was y'all mad at the most? Was y'all mad with the recast of T'Challa stuff? Was y'all mad with the Sam Wilson stuff? I don't know. I didn't see everything, so I got to go back and read. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I did not hit 3 hours. Haha, you welcome. I don't think y'all going on any hot dates right now, unless y'all still go to the club. I can't go to the club. I realized at a certain point I am all clubbed out. I can't. I just can't do it. I can't do it. But all right, guys, have a fantastic, wonderful weekend. As I said at the very beginning, and I will say again, happy Valentine's Day to only my wife, and that's it. The rest of y'all, there she goes. The rest of y'all have a wonderful holiday weekend. Fellas, it's not too late to get them flowers. You got an hour and 11 minutes. Go get them right now. Anyway, have a great weekend. You know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.